my idea was that she accepted what he'd already done because the boat was already built. There was nothing she could do about that. He'd already told God this, he's like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And so he did his part. It's just the idea that there's always more to building a healthy, happy home than what you see on the surface.
Yeah.
And that's where she comes in. One of the lines in the book is, it's in the details, Noah dear, that give that little touch of cheer. So when the rain falls from above, we'll have an ark that's full of love. And so it's all about love. Love is in the details. The story of the ark is about love and redemption and rescue and bringing everybody into safety. And that sometimes is what women focus on in their lives, and they're very good at it. And I wanted her to be seen in that way. So,
well, I'm not part of your target audience for this book, but this certainly sounds like a great marriage book to me.
Oh, well, yeah, it is. Because at one point, Noah finally gets it, and he says, wow, to make a cozy floating home, you can't do this alone. And so he hitches his tool belt up and helps her get the rest of the work done.
Yeah,
so.
there's a particular movie I'm thinking about, a boat, and the husband in the film, actually it's a Christian movie. People may have seen it, but he basically was fixated on buying a boat. And it really caused problems in their marriage.
Sure,
but I'm thinking, you put it in the Noah context, that's
a big purchase.
Yeah. And again, this is, and it is tricky to be able to take a Bible story. We see the text, we know what is written and what God spoke and inspired. It's got to be a really tricky thing for you as a children's writer or a book writer of any kind to actually enhance a story, but to remain faithful to the message of the text.
Absolutely. And since Mrs. Noah's story wasn't specifically told, I felt like I had more liberty to be creative with it while still staying true to the original text. But I think it's really important for us to remember that there's a story. There's always backstories. There's always stories behind the stories. Any writer can tell you, how many drafts they've written and how many words you've had to cut out and leave out and people and characters that you'd like to include. And so we know that there was a whole lot more going on in Noah's life and his family's life than just simply, I've got to build a boat, we've got to get in, and we've got to gather these animals, and we've got to do it quickly, or however long God gave them to do it. I can't remember off the top of my head. But the point being, there was life happening while this boat was being constructed. There were relationships being built or destroyed because of the boat. And that's just a nice little microcosm of life and family and home and love and all those things.
No, that's so very insightful, because I know we have the overall story arc, but we also have to recognize that no matter who we are, we obviously regard the Bible as the authority for our lives.
Absolutely.
We learn so much from these various characters, and we recognize their place there, but we also recognize these characters interface with other people, including their family members. And so it sounds like to me that you're really very intentional about encouraging readers to really see themselves, and especially the young girls.
Absolutely.
Seeing themselves as part of God's
as
story.
Not
that recognizing the Bible as inspired and inerrant, but still recognizing that there is a place for everyone in the story. And there's more going on.
Young girls can be a positive and powerful part of God's story. And young women are a precious gift to the world, and they need to feel like they are daughters of the King, and that they are seen, because when daughters are seen, daughters are powerful, and they bring so much to the table, and that's something that's very important to me.
And it was very important. I know there's been discussion and teaching, and it's been written about as far as the high view that Jesus himself showed toward women. And I think that this is, again, this is a message that's very consistent, that Jesus was very affirming toward women, and they had a part in his overall ministry.
Absolutely.
And I think that we have to recognize ourselves as being part of God's overall story.
We do.
As well.
We're part of the story.
Part of the story.
Yeah.
I love that.